Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the questions from Julius Caesar, Act 5, Scene 1. So first we'll go through the overview of the scene and then we'll go towards the questions. So in Act 5, Scene 1, the armies of Brutus and Cassius are marching towards Philippi, and as soon as Antony sees the army approaching, he says that though the enemy seems powerful and fearless, they are just putting on a brave face. Then Brutus, Cassius, Octavius, and Antony, during a parley, have exchange of insults and they accuse each other. Then the generals go their separate ways to battle. Then Cassius expresses his unease about a bad omen, and he says that though he believes it partly, he is fresh of spirit and resolved to meet all dangers very constantly. Then Brutus says that if he loses, he vows to die rather than to be captured and paraded through Rome. The scene ends with Brutus and Cassius parting ways to prepare for the battle, and they say that even if they don't meet each other, this parting was well made. But if they do meet each other, then they will greet each other with a smile. And the scene ends. So this was the brief summary of the scene. Now we will go towards the questions. The first question: where does the scene take place? A. In a camp near Sardis. B. In Sardis. C. In the plains of Philippi. Or D. In the battlefield. So we all know that this scene takes place in the plains of Philippi because the army has now marched towards Philippi to meet Octavius's and Antony's army there. Second, what does Octavius mean by Antony? Our hopes are answered. A. The enemy is approaching and confronting them. B. That the enemy is keeping to hills and higher regions. C. Brutus's army is waiting for them at Sardis. Or D. Both option B and C. So the answer is the enemy is approaching and confronting them. So our hopes are answered because they are not going to stay in hills and upper regions. They are approaching us and going to attack us here in Philippi. Moving on to the third question. Octavius says they are answering before we do demand of them. What does he mean by the sentence? A. They have not kept them waiting but answered all their requests. B. Before they could demand, the enemy is retreating and giving up. C. The enemy is attacking even before we have a chance to challenge them. Or D. Their expectations have been fulfilled. And the answer is C. The enemy is attacking even before they have a chance to challenge them. Fourth one. What does Antony say about the enemy and their army? A. I am in their bosom and I know why they did it. B. They wish they were somewhere else but they want to descend on us. C. They are making a brave appearance and hiding fear. Or is it D. All of the above? And the answer is all of the above. If you remember, Antony says, Tut, I am in their bosom and I know. Wherefore they do it. They could be content to visit other places and come down with fearful bravery, thinking by this face to fasten in our thoughts that they have courage. But It is not so. So all of this Antony says about the army as they are approaching them. Moving to the fifth one. Who says the following lines? Their bloody sign of battle is hung out and something must be done immediately. Is it A. Antony, B. Messenger, C. Octavius, or D. Antony's servant? And the answer is B. Messenger. The messenger says, right, prepare you generals. The enemy comes on in gallant show. Their bloody sign of battle is hung out and something has to be done immediately. Okay, moving on to the sixth one. To which direction does Antony tell Octavius to lead the army? Is it A, to the right of the even field, B, to the center of the field, C, to the left of the even field, or D, to follow Antony behind? Sounds confusing, isn't it? It is to the left of the even field. Now, let me tell you how you can remember this. Antony always feels that he is right. So, if he is right, Octavius is left. So, it is to the left of the even field. It's just a trick for you to remember this answer. Seventh one. How did the army of Brutus and Cassius appear to the enemy's army? A. They approached with a gallant show. B. They seemed nervous and weak. C. They appeared to be tired and unmotivated. Or D. Their bloody sign of battle was hung out. So, if you recall what the messenger had told Antony and Octavius, you will definitely get this answer right. Yes, the answer is option A and option D. They did not seem nervous or weak, or they did not seem tired or unmotivated. Eighth one. Who suggested to give the sign of battle even before speaking to the enemy? Is it A. Octavius, B. Antony, C. Brutus, or D. Cassius? And the answer is A. Octavius. Octavius says, right, Mark Antony, shall we give the sign of battle? That time Antony says, no, Caesar, we will answer on their charge, make forth. The generals would have some word. So before we attack, first we would have parley and we will talk. Ninth one. Why do you cross me in this exigent? Who says the following to whom? Is it A. Antony to Brutus, B. Brutus to Cassius, C. Octavius to Antony, or D. Antony to Octavius? And the answer is Antony to Octavius. If you can recall, when Octavius was asked to go upon the left hand of the even field, he says, upon the right hand, I. Keep thou the left. That is when Antony says, why do you want to defy me in this emergency or in this critical moment? Then the 10th one. Words before blows. Is it so, countrymen? Who says the following? A. Antony, B. Cassius, C. Octavius, or D. Brutus? So this is told by Brutus. Yes, I hope you're getting the answers right. Moving to the 11th one. Brutus says, dash are better than bad strokes, Octavius. Is it A. Compromises, B. Good intentions, C. Sweet words, or D. Good words? And the answer is D. Good words. The 12th one. Why does Cassius compare Antony to Hybla bees? A. Because he stings other people like a bee. Option B. He keeps buzzing around and talking bad about them. C. His words are sweet and steal honey from the bees. Or D. He is as dangerous as the bees. And the answer is option C. Because Cassius says, Antony, the posture of your blows are yet unknown, but for your words, they rob the Hybla bees and leave them honeyless. So you speak in such a sweet manner that you steal all the honey from the Hybla bees. 13th one. Which among these did Antony not mention about the conspirators? A. They struck Caesar like a lion, piercing him. B. They smiled like apes. C. They fawned like hounds. D. They bowed like bondmen kissing Caesar's feet. So, which among these was not mentioned? The answer is option A. So, if you can remember what Antony has told, villains, did you not so when your wild daggers hacked one another in the sides of Caesar? You showed your teeth like apes and fawned like hounds and bowed like bondmen kissing Caesar's feet, while damned Casca, like a cur behind, struck Caesar on the neck. Oh, you flatterers. So I'm just mentioning all of this so that you can remember what was mentioned. Coming to the 14th one. What does Cassius mean by, if Cassius might have ruled, this tongue had not offended so today? A. If Cassius was the king, things would have been different. B. It would be better if Cassius had made all decisions. C. Brutus should have killed Antony as per Cassius's decision. Or D. None of the above. And the answer is C. If you remember, Cassius had warned Brutus about Antony that he would be dangerous and to kill Antony along with Julius Caesar. But Brutus says that if the head is cut, then the limbs are not going to have any power, but it proved to be wrong. So that is what Cassius is telling here. If you had listened to me, then this tongue wouldn't have offended us today. Moving to the 15th one. When will Octavius put his sword back in its sheath? A. Until another Caesar has been killed by the conspirators. B. Till Caesar's 33 wounds are revenged. C. Only after the war is over. Or D. All of the above. So Octavius says that he will put the sword back in its sheath until another Caesar has been killed by the conspirator. So, only if Octavius Caesar is also killed will this sword go back in the sheath, or till Caesar's 33 wounds are revenged. Okay, moving to the 16th one. What does Brutus tell Octavius Caesar? A. That they will not kill Octavius Caesar until he tries to kill them. B. That they will not kill Octavius Caesar until he kills himself. C. They will kill Octavius and asked him to be prepared. Or D. You are destined to die on my sword. So what does Brutus tell Octavius? The answer is option B. Brutus says, right, Caesar, thou canst not die by traitors' hands until thou bringst them with thee. That means until you kill yourself, you're not going to be killed by a traitor. 17th one. What does Cassius call Octavius? A. Immature and childish. B. Cranky youngster. C. Peevish schoolboy. Or D. Immature kid. And the answer is he calls him a peevish schoolboy. If you remember, Cassius says, a peevish schoolboy, worthless of such honor, joined with a masker and a reveler. So he's calling him a peevish schoolboy who does not deserve such an honor. And he is joining with a masquerader and a partier. That he's calling Antony. 18th one. Brutus says, if thou wast the noblest of thy strain, thou couldst not die more honorable. So die more honorable how? A. Die fighting the war. B. Die on Brutus's sword. C. Die just like Julius Caesar. Or D. Die in the hands of the conspirators. So Brutus says, right, if thou were the noblest of thy straight young man, thou could not die more honorable. He says this when Octavius says, so I hope I was not born to die on Brutus's sword. Answer is B. 19th one. Who says the following lines? If you dare fight today, come to the field. If not, when you have stomachs. Is it A. Octavius, B. Antony, C. Brutus, or D. Cassius? This was told by A. Octavius. 20th one. Why does Cassius say, I once held Epicurus strong and his opinion, but now I change my mind? A. He still believes in Epicurus's philosophy. B. He believes fighting war is necessary. C. He did not believe in bad omens, but now he does. Or D. Both A and C. So he says, at one time I held Epicurus's philosophy strong, but now I have changed my mind because now he believes in bad omens, which before he did not. So we are going to talk about the bad omens later in an answer in detail. It's an important part. 21st. What inauspicious sight does Cassius tell Messala about? A. Eagles perched and fed from the soldier's hand, but now replaced by raven, crows, and kites. B. They are surrounded by vultures in Philippi. C. Two eagles fed from their hands, but when they reached Philippi, they died. Or D. That Brutus saw the ghost of Caesar. So the answer is option A. When they were in Sardis, eagles perched and fed from the soldier's hand, but now when they have reached Philippi, it is replaced by raven, crows, and kites. 22nd. What did Brutus blame Cato for? A. Not fighting a war. B. Letting his daughter marry him. C. Accepting defeat. Or D. Committing suicide. The answer is committing suicide. So he says, right, I condemn Cato for committing suicide. I plan to be patient and submit to what the gods decide. So he's against committing suicide. 23rd. Brutus says, farewell to thee, but if we do meet again, we shall dash. A. Cry. B. Smile. C. Embrace or celebrate. They say farewell, but if they meet again, they shall smile. 24th one. So this is the important part that I mentioned. So I've written it in bullet points. What does Cassius tell Messala soon after having the discussion with the enemy army? So what does Cassius say? Today is the day that he was born. And he asked Messala to give his hand and bear witness that he is forced against his will and forced to put all their liberties at stake, just like how Pompey was. Second, he says that he held Epicurus strong and his opinion, but now he has changed his mind, and now he partly believes in things that predict the future. When they were coming from Sardis, on their former flag, two mighty eagles fell and perched there, eating and feeding from the soldiers' hands. They accompanied them till Philippi, but this morning they fled away, and in their place, ravens, crows, and kites flew over their heads and looked down upon them as if they were prey. Fifth one, their shadow is like a deadly canopy under which their army lie ready to die. So he says that now he has started to believe in this bad omens. The 25th question. What does Brutus find cowardly and vile? And what does Brutus tell Cassius he will do if they lose the war? By the same Stoic philosophy that made him condemn Cato for committing suicide, he says that he will be patient and submit to what outcomes the gods have in store for them. He says that he finds it cowardly and vile to cut off your life early by suicide in order to prevent possible suffering later on. So he calls Cato cowardly and vile to cut off their life early just because you wanted to prevent possible suffering later in life. 26. Is Brutus ready to be led in chains through the street of Rome if they lose? A. Yes. He will accept whatever God decides their fate to be. No. He would never accept that as his mind is too great for that. See, if he loses, then he would have to accept the consequences of it. Or D. He would rather commit suicide than to be led in chains. So is Brutus ready to be led in chains through the streets of Rome? The answer is no, he would never accept that, as his mind is too great for that. 27th. At the end of the scene, Brutus wishes to know something. What is it? And how does he console himself? Brutus says that he wishes to know what will happen at the end of the day before it even happens. But he consoles himself saying that it's enough to know that the day will end and then the end will be known. So he is very inquisitive to know the outcome of the war. So he's saying, I wish I could get to know it right now. But then he's consoling himself by saying, anyway, at the end of the day, I know that the day is going to end and we are going to know the consequences. So we will know it then. 28. How does Octavius respond to Antony's request to lead the battle softly on? A. He agrees. B. He suggests an alternative. C. He starts arguing. Or D. He walks away. So what does Octavius do? He starts arguing with Antony, saying that you go to the left, I will go to the right. And he says, I am going to do that. And he starts arguing with Antony. And so we have completed all 28 questions of Act 5, Scene 1. I hope you're thorough with this entire scene now. We are approaching towards the end of the story. So make sure that you watch all these videos and you are thorough with every little concept of this book, because there are hardly Act 3, 4, and 5 that is going to appear in the exam. So make sure you study well. God bless. I'm praying for each one of you.